So hello. It has definitely been a minute since I've recorded a video. It's like 12 in the morning. Summer school to do still. But I feel like you ever get those moments where you're just like in the midst of like change. And I feel like change is the only word I can really use to think of it, because it's kind of more than that. Well, it is pretty much just change, but it's like this unfathomable, like knowing or feeling that like everything is going to be different, everything has changed, and you've kind of like gone over kind of like hell. So when I experience these things and like these ups and these lows, I experience it in like a euphoric way where it's like everything is changing. I can feel it like in my body. Maybe an internal change has occurred. That internal change is now being reflected in the external, which those two things are the same thing. Well, it's just life, and like I just feel like life is just flowing as it naturally does through me, through my lens or my little section of the universe that exists through my mind, my eyes, and my senses. And I feel like when I have these moments, like I said, it can be a euphoric experience, or it can come with a lot of grief. And I do feel like I'm in a grief stage, if that makes sense. I do feel like I'm in a grief stage. I was just journaling, and some of the things that I write, I'm like, I end up feeling so grateful for the fact that I can even just write and feel safe in knowing that I have a space for my thoughts and my inner worlds that allows me to be free of judgment, allows me to be free of like censoring myself and feeling like I need to translate things a certain way, or think they sound a certain way. That allows me a little bit of that like release, especially for experiences like what I'm trying to like explain that are like so impossible to comprehend, and you're only really able to comprehend if you experienced it. I think these instances are instances of grace, and I've been learning about grace. One of my favorite, I've talked about it so many times, Hannah Williams. I think I'll put the link of the talks on grace, because the talks on grace are free. She recently just retouched Grace 101. There are two different videos, like 2 hours long. So it's like about 4 hours or so. And then talks about this concept. And she kind of just explains what grace is. And learning about grace, I feel like, brings a lot of like, I guess it brings a perspective shift into a lot of my experiences. I realize a lot of things that I am is because of the hardships I've endured. Things like, I've always been a very hyper-aware person, very hyper-aware of other people's emotions, very conscious. A lot of that has been around anxiety. But that has also made me such an empathetic friend. It has made me an empathetic lover, a great sister, good listener. And it's even taught me, now that I'm realizing and I'm able to like bring these things back to myself, how to sit with myself deeper. It's funny, I was thinking about this earlier today when I was thinking about meditation. I've been meditating more consistently, and this is like the first, I think, I'd say a year that I've been meditating very consistently. And like I've been waking and meditating, and just like a part of my routine that I can hit or miss. And I have my routine that it's like my optimizes my wellness. I mean, I do perfectly all the time, as say, but I was realizing when I was taking meditation earlier today is the fact that when you reach a certain point over meditating, and even I start to realize that like my thoughts almost are louder. And it's almost ironic that because people kind of feel like meditation is about quieting your mind, and I'm like, it has nothing to do with quieting your mind. Your mind, most of the time, people's minds are quiet. Masters, people who with great, maybe great talent or great self discipline and do great self effort or whatever, are able to like sit with completely clear, empty mind. But I don't think it really matters if your mind is empty or you're not having any thoughts. What matters is your awareness of your thoughts. And it's funny because I feel like when people experience, like, they start meditating and they realize, my thoughts are so loud, I have so many thoughts. You're supposed to be focusing, like, it kind of gets to the point where it's like, that's the point. Like, I'm starting to realize, like, that's literally the point. Like, I'm supposed to be realizing I'm having thoughts. So I'm not swept up in them, I'm not lost in them. And sometimes the greater awareness of your thoughts can be deeply freaking uncomfortable because you see more of yourself, you see more of your ego, you see more of the things you become attached to, ideas and concepts that have been like inlaid with you, the systems that have shaped us, that are sometimes completely out of our control, like the way our parents raised us, our traumas, our personal histories, things like patriarchy and capitalism. Gotta mention capitalism. And kind of just realizing what goes inside your mind can be a little bit, I guess, scary. But I think it's more once you also reach another hurdle. Because I feel like I'm realizing some of the things you kind of need to get over, and some of them I feel like it's more like they're like hills you kind of go through. It's like the goes up, and then it goes down, and you have to regain momentum, go up the next hill. You know, and maybe my understanding of that will change over time, and maybe the ups and downs will be less intense and less severe. But I also feel like when I experience these things, I come out of them with amazing gifts. And I come out of them so much closer to God. In the talk that I was listening to, I just listened to the first talk because I wanted to listen to it twice before I got into listen to the second session of the talks on grace. Hannah said something, and when she said that, I literally wanted to, I'm feeling so emotional and wanting to cry when she said that. And she's like, sometimes life has to make it so that things get so bad that you only have God. And grace is like this force that pushes you closer to God, pushes you closer to yourself, and realizing God as yourself, everything. And every time I think of the idea of God as yourself, I think it's really easy because our ego is very determined everything that we kind of do. So it's really easy to like take that in the egotistical sense of I am God, but you're not God. God is you. Two different things. Very two different things. So when I say you're God, I mean God is you. Because God was here first. You came second. You came because God wanted to exist as you. Oh, my belly. But yeah, I think grace for me lately has been putting down boundaries and having to put down boundaries for the sake of my sanity because slowly losing it. Grace has been getting so wrapped up in my identity, my school, my career. I'm recognizing that I attach too much of my self worth to this, that it's detrimental to my health in a sense. Grace has been having to just sit with the things that I don't enjoy feeling, because I've done this enough times. I've gone through my own emotional up and downs, and extreme emotional up and downs. So much so that I realize I have no choice but to turn deeper to my practices. I have no choice but to turn deeper to God. I have no choice but to sit with my emotions and meditate and pray and go to that damn yoga class and stretch my body, which I've been so bad at lately. And even taking those moments to like remove the self judgment from me not stretching my body enough. Because I know that it can get a whole lot darker before it gets brighter. And I can take the easy way, or we can do it a long way. Peanut butter jelly the long way. I don't even know what that's from. Oh, that's 2016, 2015 years. That was a 14-year-old girl. So I've been trying a lot of things. Aromatherapy has been really good for me. I realized lavender can be so fucking calming for your fucking anxiety. Just smelling lavender. I'm gonna try and cop some vanilla essential oils I saw at the store, because I love vanilla, and vanilla just makes me feel so. Just even smelling like vanilla, my room smelling like vanilla, it just makes me feel so like happy and good and sexy. I don't know, vanilla is so sexy to me. I love feeling sexy. I love feeling sensual. I love feeling hot as fuck. And vanilla makes me feel that way. So I need to cultivate those things. Reading more. I need to read more. Oh, speaking of which, we'll talk about what I've been reading. I need to do that. I finished I don't have the first book because my sister's supposed to be reading it, but she's been avoiding it because it's a lot. But I did Parable of the Sower. I finished Parable of the Talents this year. Octavia Butler, my first Octavia Butler book. So happy. I've been really trying to get into these like Black authors. I finished Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. That was a beautiful fucking read. Two of these are great fucking reads, and it's great because I've been in a very non-fiction side of things, and I'm realizing non-fiction kind of burned me out, especially since I'm in school. I'm doing like so much studying. I just want to get lost in the fantasy worlds. I realized as a teenager and as a preteen, that's some of the shit that saved me, that saved my life. Reading, getting lost in worlds that were not my own, getting to exist through characters, and getting to live through their experiences. And you can learn a lot from fiction, just as much as you can learn from non-fiction. I think it's easy to like get very intellectual about things and be like, oh, I should be betting because I should be learning. But currently, I finished these two this year. And currently I'm reading another Bell Hooks read. My Black authors lead up to Black History Month. This is The Will to Change by Men, Masculinity, and Love by Bell Hooks. And it talks about the patriarchy and how it affects the way men love and their ability to love, and our ability me as a woman to love men. And I realized I found this in the little library, so that was such a good cop because I only have one other Bell Hooks book all about love, and that was a good read too. I kind of prefer this one a little bit more than All About Love, mostly because I feel like it gave me a different perspective. It was more like, I guess, perspective shifting than All About Love. All About Love was really good, and it gave me new perspectives for sure. So much new. But I feel like there's so many things about in the Will to Change that have generally shifted like the way I interact with men, the way I view them, and even have kind of reframed my relationships with men in my life. I realized I've not known men, and I think that's been a disappointment to me. It also reframed my relationship with my father in a sense too. Sounds sad to say, but I realize, and I'm starting to make a video about it, so I don't want to talk too much about it. But something she said in the book was, I think, in this moment, is what stands out to me the most was that love cannot exist in a dynamic that is based off of domination. And so many relationships with men are based off domination and power, and oftentimes coercion and manipulation. And someone cannot abuse you or manipulate or dominate you and say that they love you at the same time, because that's not love. That's what I think that I'm glad I read All About Love first, because reading All About Love kind of also helped me kind of reframe what my beliefs about love and like what my understanding of love is. Yeah, that was really good. It's also been a lot of work around me accepting the fact that I do crave relationships with men. I do crave friendships with men. I do crave romantic connections with men, familiar connections with men. Like, I don't know any of the men in my family, really. My family is entirely matriarchal. Like, we're just a bunch of girlies, which is fucking awesome. But if I do have kids one day, I may have sons. And how can I refrain when I say, oh, I hate men, or men are exhausting, and I have all these beliefs about giving up on men the way they exist? How could I raise a son with true love and true love and compassion, and in a way that he can exist within patriarchy, loving himself and loving others, that ability to love and love others, while still having worldviews that are often misandrists? And it's kind of sad and it's kind of tiring. And I can't say that I can devote myself to love without loving and seeking to understand the entire side of the spectrum of gender. So yeah, almost done that. I think I have less than, I think I have like 60 pages or so to go. Like 60, 67, 60, 70 pages. I also got the 5th season, which I've been wanting to start so bad. I'm trying to finish this. It's about reading 2 books at the same time, because sometimes I'll start 2 books and then I'll just end up abandoning the other book, especially if I'm reading a nonfiction, because oftentimes fiction can be a little more gripping. My sticker. This is my sketchbook. And yeah, often I start a fiction, or I'm reading a nonfiction, then I abandon the nonfiction, because fiction can be more gripping. There's like a storyline, a plotline you follow, and you want to know what's next. Also read some smutty ass novel, like one of those really, like, they're just, they're not good, but they're just like Boy Meets Girl, Boy and Girl Fuck. It's fun. This one was about aliens, so it was cool. I also read my mom's copy of The Alchemist, because this book is so good, and I feel like it'd be a good read when you need like a pick me up. Someone I dated briefly introduced me to this book, so grateful for him. Didn't work out, but grateful for him as fuck. And sometimes I feel like it's one of those books when you do need, like, you're feeling a little lost. It can be nice to like realign yourself to your inner guidance. So I've been wanting to do something a little spiritual too, a little bit. So we'll see what I end up reading next. I think The Alchemist is a little shorter than the 5th season, because the 5th season is an entire series, and I read the 5th season in high school. So I got her the box set for Christmas. I'm so excited to read it again. I didn't finish it because it's low-key long. Other than that, I do really want to read one of a book I've had for a while called The Seat of the Soul. ironically enough, I've had that book for so long before I got this book. And she mentions and references a book from the same author multiple times. I'm like, I know that guy. So I'm like, I need to read that. I'm going to try to read that too. Hopefully the next few months. But I need to lock it in my reading. I feel like I've been doing a lot of doom scrolling lately. I don't know. I mean, it kind of bothers me because I feel like I'm just like sitting there and just droning, and then it's like 12. I've been locked into this like cycle, this routine, and I'm like kind of watching myself do it. And it can be frustrating, which is a little bit disappointing because I'm like, I'm gonna use my time better. Feels like I barely have enough time as it is. Like I want to use it for things that feed me, you know. So it can be a little frustrating. But I know that things will change. I will change. I know I love myself, and I seek to create better habits. The fact that even noticing this is part of that adoration for myself. That I want better things for myself. So I decorated my sketchbook. I have my stickers. I do think she needs a little bit more work personally. So some of these stickers are coming off. I'm like, why are you coming off, bro? Like, what's happening? I think it's like the material of my sketchbook that makes it like hard for them to stay. So hopefully most of them stay. She was one of the ones that are coming off. So I've been trying to watercolor paint a little bit more. This is a piece that I did recently. Quite cute. And then I want to like stick them on and have my little journal entries with them too. And like just sketch more and draw more. I should just start to get warmer. Spending more time outside just painting and drawing. It's so fulfilling. It makes me feel so good to create beautiful things. But yeah. I feel like my dreams have been hella weird. So I'm on a tea break because I've been feeling like the need for a tea break. Not the most perfect tea break. I smoked 2 days ago with my sister. But I don't feel like too bad about it because I also know that like I want a tea break, and it's not that I'm like forcing myself to take one because I feel guilty or I feel like I should have a tea break. I want one. My body wants one. I want one. I do think I need it. I need the feeling of sobriety for a good amount of time. And I also do know that I'm going out with friends. Like, my friend's birthday's coming up at the end of the month. So it's nice to like have it like, okay, I'm gonna be going out and partying and drinking or whatever with my peoples. And I can just really like go and enjoy myself then. And while I take my break for the rest of the month. But yeah, I think my dreams have been weird. Even before my dreams have been hella weird. I think dreams are also another instrument of grace. And I think as someone who's always grown up in a family where like dreams have always been so fucking important. Like I'm African Yoruba. Dreams are part of our our traditional spiritual worldviews. And so many like traditional spiritual systems emphasize the importance of dreams. Dreams are tools for divination, a tool for talking to God. Your spirits, your ancestors will talk to you in your dreams. And over time, I feel like it's also been more active to me. So for me now, even talking about this was incredibly intimate because this is also a space where it's like, this is an internal space. So sharing this can feel a little bit nerve-wracking. But sometimes I share my things I do for a reason. And also, I feel like if I do feel like it's too much, I'll delete it. Fuck it, bro. Like, I'll delete it. Nothing, I've never had to delete anything. I will delete that shit. I'll archive it. I'll make it private. But also, I do feel like a lot of people need to be watching this. And I've always felt like things are always created for a reason. Experiences always happen for a reason. On a side note, before I get into my dreams, Hannah was talking about this experiment. She was talking about the fact that about how healing has never ever just been for yourself. Experiences of healing have never ever just been for yourself. She was talking about this experience by this experiment by this scientist who would do rat mazes, and then they'd have rat mazes from across the world. And if one rat from the other side of the world completed their new maze, otherwise something in a completely different side of the world would suddenly be able to do this so much faster. And I just think it's cool that we're all connected in that way. And when you recognize, because we all do carry medicine in some capacity. We all carry God within us. And some of us realize it's different capacities, or recognize it even to different capacities. And some of us are ignorant to it in different capacities. But in recognizing that, you also recognize that you don't exist in a vacuum. So when I share these things, I do recognize the fact that they could benefit even one person. Even hearing a story could benefit even one person. And not even in the sense that maybe you'll hear my story and it'll be relevant to some of your experience. Or it'll make you think differently about some of your own experiences, because maybe you don't pay attention to your dreams. Maybe it's something you decide doing. Because that shit, when things I experienced to make me realize like I can't be really doing it. I can't be really doing shit I see in my dreams at all. So the first story as an outline for why you listen to your fucking dreams. So I'm estranged from pretty much the entirety of my extended family on both sides. My mom, my dad's side. I talk to nobody really. My cousins are very touchy with me. I'm very touchy with cousins in the extended family. And because sometimes people don't have the best attitudes toward the way they best interact with others. And this is not to say there's any specific experiences I've had, but people like to gossip, people can be nosy, and someone you may feel really uncomfortable knowing anything about you, and someone you may feel comfortable knowing things about you, may share things with each other. Even if it's harmless, it can do harm. So it's also, I'm very much been very conscious of my boundaries around people in my extended family. So I have this particular person in my family who I am estranged, haven't talked to her in, I haven't talked to them in like probably at least 7 or 8 years. And suddenly I start dreaming about this person. And they just keep showing up in my dreams. First night I mentioned it to my mom. My mom, she's always been like a big on dreams. She's always been like big on dreams. She'll see stuff in her dreams, she'll warn people about it. People pay attention, they listen. She'll see things that are going to happen that people need to pay attention to, whatever. So I had the first night to my mom. Which I thought it was something like negative, because I was like, we never really had a good relationship with each other. Second time I see her, I'm like, oh, what the fuck is happening? I ignore it again. Third time, I'm ignoring it, whatever. And the fourth time, I'm like, bruh. And it's just all within the span of like a week or so. And it's weird because when I've been seeing them in my dreams, they're just kind of there too. So it's like they just keep popping up. Like they just keep popping up. And I finally tell my mom. My mom's like, the first time I was hesitant to tell my mom about it because I was like, I don't really want to keep bringing this up to you because this feels stupid now. It's kind of irritating me. And I was like kind of overthinking it because like maybe I'm getting in my head about it, whatever. And I was kind of like, oh, you need to stay away from her, whatever. My mom was like, maybe something's going on with her. And maybe you think it's not about us. Because also like, it's also why sharing things is also super important too, because I have the perspective of like, oh, it's just like a warning for me, whatever, just stay the fuck away from her. Because that's also my bias towards my relationship with this person. But I was like, maybe something's going on with her. Maybe it's the same for us. Maybe it's for her. And then I think about it a little bit, and I'm like, huh, maybe you're right. Because the way she was showing up was very odd. And it just kind of seemed like it was a lot of my regular dreams, but she was also just there. Because I do have dreams that like I kind of consistently will have, and they kind of reflects what's kind of going on in my life, what themes, whatever. So my mom reaches out to her. Turns out she's dealing with a lot of shit. Like she was dealing with a lot. Like things were getting bad for her, and likely if she hadn't reached out, it would have gotten like really bad for her, like so bad. I'm telling you, like bad. So grace works in strange ways, and God works in strange ways because my mom she's a relative of my mom. But my mom had jokes about her. We would have written it out, and we kind of had the conversation. We were like, it's weird that I had the dreams about her, not you, because she's more so your relative than she's mine. But we also both recognized the way the relationship had been, that if she had dreams about her, we would not have even thought twice about it. We would have immediately written it off. I would have even said, forget about it. You were thinking it. You're in your head, whatever. It's almost like there was this understanding that the only way for it to be, the message to have get across, even to my mom, because my mom was the one that ended up reaching out to her, not me. I'm still not going to interact with her. Was through me and me speaking to my mom about it, for her to notice and her to reach out to this person that needed help, needed someone to talk to, needed support of a family member. And to me, that's just fucking crazy. It's crazy and it's weird. And I've had so many experiences like that have just been like shaping and have just taught me so much about trusting what shows up for you and not overthinking things. And I do feel like in these experiences, my intuition has gotten not stronger, but I've been more aware of my intuition. It's so easy to ignore things that you feel. And you say, and your body says no, and then your mind says yes, and you go with your mind. When you that little nagging feeling you ignore because, bro, it doesn't even make any sense. But yeah, so that's what's fucking crazy. On the note of dreams, this is the dream that I specifically wanted to share, and it kind of does relate to the the book I've been reading on masculinity and the way we appear and like relationships of domination and power and control. My dream. Okay. So I was outside a bank. I pulled up to an ATM. Someone leaves before me. There is cash in the ATM, a large amount of cash. The person left it behind. So there's cash and there's a receipt. I take the money. I briefly think about taking it. I'm not sure if I think about taking it or not. That's the thing about. But obviously, the thought always crosses your mind. Should I take this? And immediately, I'm like, nah. And I go to return it. I go into the bank and I go over to the teller and I return it with the receipt. The receipt is a man's name. Then I'm in the bank for a while and the scene kind of changes. There's a man on a rampage. He is destroying things and like hurting people. Overall, just causing damage. It's like this person out of control, possessed almost in a way. I'm there with the friends, and we're trying to escape and get to safety. It's chaos. Everyone's running around, and the bank is almost like a museum in a sense. It kind of reminded me of the art gallery of Toronto, the upstairs area. I don't know why. Maybe I saw a display there, and my mind kind of went to that scene. And we're running through the hallways. I'm in the bathroom. We're running through them, and I remember thinking and praying and hoping for people to get to safety. I'm holding my friend's hand, and I'm leading her to safety through intuition, just pure intuition. Like I'm just like, okay, I need to turn left. I need to turn right. I have to stop. I need to go this way, and I'm like just going through hallways and going through things, trying to avoid the man. Essentially, we get upstairs. My friend isn't with me anymore. Suddenly, and I'm in a room of displays. There's two statues in this room. A masculine figure standing up, a feminine figure laying down. I know this is Shiva and this is Shakti. And if you know anything about, I'll explain it after the dream, who Shiva and Shakti are in Hinduism. And between them is a row of soldiers. One of them, the soldiers start blasting fire, and as I'm trying to move through them, it's dangerous, but I know I can move through them. And suddenly the man is there on one side. He's like in between the soldiers, and Shakti's on one side, Shiva, and the soldiers. in between on this side and left. The man is facing Shakti, I believe, and I go up to him, and I wrap my arms around him from behind, and he's calmed, and he melts, and another danger is gone, and he disappears. He's gone now, and I know that this experience is an act of God. So I go to my statues, and I recognize these things are symbols. These statues are symbols, but they have reverence. They have, I guess, energy in them, mystical, whatever energy you want to call it, divine energy in them. So I don't remember specifically which one I go to first. I want to say I went to Shiva first, and then I went to Shakti, but I don't really remember. Maybe I wrote it down when I went down the train, but I go to Shiva maybe first, then Shakti. But once I kneel, the more important thing is that once I kneel at Shakti's feet, the goddess laying down, and I kneel and I give gratitude. Afterwards, I kneel, I bend my head, and I look up, and the statues are gone. Our dream is over. So Shiva and Shakti. So I'm not. It's hard to explain this stuff because I don't understand enough to be like giving an expert explanation. But it's kind of like when you think of souls dividing. I think it's the best way to think of it. It's kind of like in some sects of Hinduism, there is an understanding, and there's understanding based on whatever sect you believe in, whether or not you believe in or have an understanding of source being feminine, masculine, whatever. Mother God, Father God. God is not a man or a woman anyway, so it doesn't really fucking matter. But at least to me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for this explanation. There is source, which is like pure conscious awareness, nothingness, incomprehensible, what was here before anything existed. And then there's the initial division of feminine and masculine, which is the two opposing forces that allow each other to exist. So it's like light and dark, because light cannot exist without darkness. Feminine, masculine, force and form, awareness and existence, I guess you could say. Because what is awareness without something to be aware of? And then there's contraction and expansion, and then light, dark, whatever. And those two things are, I guess, what you would call, I guess, like the most pure essence of those two things, opposing forces, of what you would call Shiva and Shakti. So the feminine and masculine principle of God. And so that's basically what those two represent. And in an intellectual way, I kind of, before I record this, I started talking here now, I thought I had an understanding of this dream, what it meant. I kind of related to my relationships with around control and domination, and I recognized a lot that as a young woman, having to take on a lot of leadership roles in my life, most particularly in my family, like literally when my dad went to prison, when he got sent to prison, he told, one of the last things he told to 12-year-old me before he went was, yo, you're the man of the house now. You take care of your family. You have to take care of our family. Take care of your mom and your sisters. You're the man of the house now. Like, you're in charge. And basically handed off his role as father, provider, whatever, to me. And a lot of that has given me control issues. I've had to be in charge of things that most kids do not really need to be in charge of. Taking on emotional baggage that most kids don't really need to be carrying. And a lot of people have these experiences, so it doesn't exist in a vacuum. But it kind of felt to me the masculine figure was me in that sense. And then a lot of it was about me returning to a new identity with masculinity, or changing my identity with masculinity, and that's part of myself. And it felt like it was me returning to intuition. I do still think that is true, But that first analysis of it doesn't really feel that true to me anymore for some reason. So I don't really know. I know when dreams are just dreams and when they have messages for me. This is not just a dream. And they even feel different. Like there's things I've had experience where it's like, okay, I'm dreaming regularly and then suddenly I just get this shot of a person. Like a couple days ago, I was early Sunday or whatever, Sunday night or whatever, I was dreaming. And I just get this, I just see the face of like a white lamb. What the fuck does that mean? What are we talking about? I don't know, God only knows. But I can try and like take what lessons come up for me in my body. A lot of that felt to me about, at least a lamb felt to me about surrender and acceptance. And kind of felt like I was thinking of like, I think even before that, I was kind of thinking of some of the hymns that I listened to in school. So it was like, Lamb of God, you take away the sins of the world. And I was kind of thinking of like, and afterwards, when I was kind of thinking of some of the parables we listened to, like the parable of the Good Shepherd. And I kind of think of a lamb as someone who just, a lamb is just like, you just follow. You don't, there's no need to ask questions or argue or fight or know to go which way or not. You don't question whether or not you're going to be fed, or you don't spend your time constantly searching for danger. You're calm, you're at ease. You eat what is given to you. You trust your shepherd will lead you to where green pastures lie. I think that's beautiful. And maybe that's something that I need to remind myself of a way to exist. And maybe that dream, I'm not meant to completely understand it. It's not meant to make sense in my mind, but something that needs to be felt in my body. Dreams have always been like that for me. I've always felt like the return of dreams have always been a sign for me that A, I'm going in the right direction, or B, that there's something that's like clicking into place for me, kind of. And by the return of dreams, I mean like I will like suddenly get flashes of dreams I have, which are like deja vu. Woo stuff is crazy, I will say. So if you're like really not into the woo stuff, y'all got like all this stuff. And the reason I want to talk about dreams is because I really wanted to add this into my video about masculinity and talking about bell hooks' novel, but I also feel like it didn't really feel like it clicked into place. I don't really want to make it about my, I guess, human concepts of my masculinity, because it feels like it's more than that. So it's still eluding me a little bit, but I guess we'll see what it ends up making sense, how it ends up making sense later on. I think we have a lot to learn from our dreams. A lot to learn from the way our consciousness shapes itself when we're sleeping. Pay attention to who shows up in your dreams and who doesn't show up in your dream. It's funny, I feel like even saying this now, and we'll see what comes of it in the years to come. I'm just looking for my lighter. What comes up in the years to come. But I feel like maybe I'll cut this out later because it's also irritating me to talk about it. I have so many feelings about this. I've only consistently dreamt of one of my lovers. I was in a relationship for 4 years. Even now, I dream of this person. It's very clearly like over in my head. This person, like I've never seen this person. It's not like that. Lovers I've still even been enamored with while the relationship is still over. I've had like a dream, one or two dreams of, and in the dream, it's very clear symbolically this person is not a fit for me. I've only had consistent dreams of one person that I've met, and nonstop, like it's irritating, like nonstop dreams of this person over the past 2 to 3 years. You can imagine how quite irritating that is. You can only imagine how irritating that is, especially when you're like, bro, can we move on? But also, that's also kind of like, I feel like what my dreams are kind of alluding to in a sense too, where I'm like learning to like just take it how the tide moves. Like, I don't know what this means. I don't need to know what it means. I'm gonna trust it. Like, I've been learning to trust everything else in my life and recognize I don't really need to make sense of it. I just need to feel it. I need to feel it in my body. Let it be. Let it move through me as I breathe. But yeah, I think that's it for me for today. I'm so grateful if you're listening. I'm so grateful for you listening. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I don't know when I'll post this. I just like to watch over myself before I post it. And Tom has not been on my side, but we shall say.